Hi everyone, it's Mark here from Rightbase and we're taking our weekly review of WWE Monday Night Raw. So the big story this week concerning Becky Lynch and Stephanie McMahon. In a nutshell, Becky may or may not have suffered a knee injury that, as per what Stephanie said, could potentially stop her competing at WrestleMania. But what Stephanie was trying to say is if Becky isn't going to allow the doctor to check her whatsoever, then she'd have to be indefinitely suspended, no matter how serious or minor the injury may be. In storyline, it's clear that Becky knows she's really hurt and just doesn't want to say it, especially after she had to miss a previous match with Ronda Rousey from getting her face destroyed, supposedly, by Nia Jax. So Becky turned down Stephanie's request, which led Stephanie to indefinitely suspend her. And if you've been following the product lately, you'll know what's coming next, as Becky attacked Stephanie and even tried to put her in the disarmer. Officials were trying to drag her away, but she kept trying to attack Stephanie. I didn't notice until they replayed it later on that Stephanie actually kicked Lynch in the knee as defence, which was a pretty cool addition, sort of like an Easter egg for the storyline. Really, the direction is pretty obvious that if Becky's out of the picture, Stephanie can try to bring in her so-called preferred favourite to be in that role to face Ronda at WrestleMania, that being Charlotte Flair. It's going to be pretty exciting to see what happens because a lot of people weren't happy about the idea that Charlotte could still be in the title match at WrestleMania. But if they tell a good story with it and make it even more courageous for Becky to earn her way back into the match and most likely to win the match at WrestleMania, it's going to be one of the bigger WrestleMania moments they've had in a long time. So I like this segment, and it's only going to make Becky an even bigger star, especially with her channeling Stone Cold Steve Austin and his rivalry with Vince McMahon more and more by the week. Otherwise, it was a pretty uneventful show, to be honest. It seemed like we were going to get a major announcement from Kurt Angle, with rumours suggesting he was either going to announce his retirement or at least begin a storyline leading to that. But instead, he was interrupted firstly by Baron Corbin and then by Drew McIntyre, both of whom have pretty much humiliated Angle over the last few months. Braun Strowman came to the save, and then we had a tag team match in the main event slot. One would think that the heels would lose this one and get the comeuppance. They actually won by disqualification, and this was pretty confusing, that they essentially suggested, well, Braun Strowman, he attacked the legal partner when he wasn't allowed to, considering he wasn't the legal man. But it's hardly stopped referees allowing this to happen in the past, so I'm not sure why it was a big deal here. Either way, Strowman attacked both Corbin and McIntyre after the bell, with him and Angle standing tall to end the show. My guess is that we're going to get a rematch at Elimination Chamber, and if the heels win again there, perhaps Angle really does go through with the retirement speech the following night to set up what would have to be presumed to be his real retirement match at WrestleMania. Elsewhere on the show, we had the debut in Ring on Raw of EC3, who beat Dean Ambrose. Of course, everyone's been talking about Ambrose leaving WWE in the last week, with many wondering if it was for real or if it was storyline. But the presentation of this, with Ambrose interrupting EC3 on Alexa Bliss's talk show segment, A Moment of Bliss, made it clear he really is leaving the company, because it wasn't mentioned here, it wasn't even hinted at. And if they were going to make it a storyline, they surely would have dropped even the tiniest hint about that. We also had Bayley and Sasha Banks qualifying for the Women's Tag Team Championship Elimination Chamber match. They were attacked before the match by Alicia Fox and Nikki Cross, so Sasha, who reportedly is dealing with injuries at the moment, didn't actually compete, but Bayley did, valiantly managing to win the match on her own and earn the spot in an Elimination Chamber for the Boss and Hug connection. The women also took centre stage at the beginning of the show, and not just with the Becky Lynch segment. Ronda Rousey first defeating Liv Morgan and then defeating Sarah Logan in an impromptu match, basically trying to play up the idea that she's mad, not only about Becky potentially throwing away their big WrestleMania match, but also about the fact that the fans are getting to her. I'm interested to see if this is the first step towards a heel turn, because it's a shame I mentioned in recent videos that I don't understand why fans are booing Ronda right now. But one thing's for sure, the idea that fans are going to turn on Becky right now is almost unfathomable. So it could be a good idea for WWE to play this up, very similar to WrestleMania 30, where you kind of had Batista, I guess, in the Ronda Rousey role, in a sense of they're thinking, why is not everybody liking this person? Then if you throw in Charlotte Flair, that would be Randy Orton, the idea of the chosen one for the company, and then you've got the underdog in the form of Becky playing what would be Daniel Bryan. So I'm interested to see what they're doing with this. It's a shame if they have to turn Ronda heel because I still feel like face versus face with really intense promos and action could make for a better match. But once you throw Charlotte in, I guess you need Becky to come across even more as a baby face. And if they do switch Ronda heel, that might achieve it. I should mention that Ruby Riott turned down the chance to face Ronda here, and I'm gonna guess that should be sacrificed to her at Elimination Chamber. In addition, Finn Balor defeated Bobby Lashley's manager slash companion, for lack of a better word, Lio Rush, with Lashley refusing to defend the Intercontinental title against him. And the Revival won a fatal four-way tag team match to earn another shot at Chad Gable and Bobby Roode. And Double J Jeff Jarrett shows up again with Road Dogg at his side, only to lose his first Raw match in nearly 20 years to Elias, with the best part of this being before the match, during Elias' speech, and really stinging Road Dogg by hilariously blaming him for SmackDown's rating problems, which, if you've been following wrestling Twitter for the last 18 months, makes this an early contender for Insult of the Year, at least on screen in wrestling. On the whole, an uneventful episode of Raw. At least once you take away the Becky Lynch segment and once you realise that Kurt Angle wasn't really going to announce his retirement here. So a missable episode, not a bad episode, but a missable one. It feels like we're in a sort of, I don't know the best way of putting it, but we're kind of waiting to get Elimination Chamber out of the way, it feels like, before we get to the next stage of the road to WrestleMania, at least for other major matches. Seth Rollins wasn't on the show at all. He was destroyed last week by Brock Lesnar, and the word going around is that he too is injured at the minute. Probably not seriously, but enough to keep him off screen for the next few weeks. And in hindsight, the brutal beating by Lesnar was probably designed to explain his absence for the time being. All in all though, not a great Raw. I'd suggest still keeping an eye on developments, because we're getting closer and closer, not only to Elimination Chamber, but Fastlane as well, and then of course the big one, WrestleMania. If you did miss this week's Raw, I'd suggest the only thing you need to really check out in terms of highlights is Becky Lynch destroying, or at least trying to destroy, Stephanie McMahon. So that's it for this week's Raw review. Hope you enjoyed it. You can check out all of our wrestling content on our website at www.rightbase.co.uk, and keep looking out on this channel for further video reviews. Our next one will be for SmackDown tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again sometime.